They played music, and they kept playing, and they put you through a journey of just each song on the album. And this song I could just listen to over and over again. There's just so much emotion into it, and there's just so much. There's just a story being told in this song, and I just love to listen to music like this. It just soothes me. On the album, just puts me in a good mood. And this song,
definitely, it's like feel good stuff. And I always want a story in a song. I feel like it's always more impactful that way.
You know, I was driving over here to the studio, Gynesis Radio, and I was thinking about what am I going to talk about tonight? What have I been thinking about? What is going on? What season is it? You know, and it's a funny season. You know, I feel like we got through this crazy season of no quit. I feel like we got through this crazy season of struggling, and I feel like we're in this weird world right now where we don't know where our placement is and where our place is. And I feel like there's a lot of static in the frequency right now. And I feel like a lot of people are going through it together, and we're kind of going through the motions of life, not really knowing where our feet are going to end up, where we're going to end up. A lot of just static in the air and just trying to get through the fog to figure out exactly where we're going. A lot of the times we forget we're on the journey. We get so caught up in the fog and the static. We don't know where we are in the journey. We forget that we're on the journey, you know, because it is painful. It is a struggle, and we're going through that, and we're transitioning through season to season. And when you're transitioning into a new season, there is going to be fog. There is going to be that static. So you have to kind of figure it out and maneuver through this fog and try to figure it out.
Oh, for sure. Like, I feel like those like transitional periods are always so tough because you are kind of growing out of something into something new, and that's always so difficult to do because you are a lot of times in like new uncharted territory trying to figure out where it is you see yourself and what it is you want to do to get there. And it makes it just, you know, just new. A lot of new stuff has been happening.
Yeah, so I've been doing this thing where anytime I see a piece of paper, I thought you were gonna fix something on me.
No, I was getting my sleeve.
I thought something was messed up on my new sweater.
No, I love it though.
So you know, every time I see a piece of paper or a piece of paper, I've been just writing inspirational things down for people, and it's honestly for myself. And I just write these things down, and I leave these papers everywhere. And you know, so I'm writing things that I write in my journal, you know, just like I talk about on this show, and I'm just writing them and leaving them everywhere. And I'm posting some of them. And when I post them, people are reading them, and they're commenting on my posts of just how they needed that, how they needed to hear that, how it's helped them get through that day, and it's that extra push that they needed. And, you know, people are coming up to me that are physically reading them and just thanking me for them and just, you know, liking them and things like that. And I really feel like because I'm doing this, I'm finding out that, you know, people really, even me, but people really, really need that inspiration, that one line that is just going to help them get through something. And, you know, we never know what anybody's going through. So that one line can help somebody. So by telling somebody, good job, I appreciate you, I'm grateful, thank you, you know, just little things here and there can just make somebody's day. And it makes you want to do it more. So anytime I do this and I'm, you know, it helps somebody, I just want to help them more. I want to help more people.
And there's so much strength in that. And like everyone isn't used to really saying nice things to themselves. So although you're writing that for anyone to see, like it is it's so powerful because you're reading it to yourself and it feels like you're saying good things to yourself.
Yeah. So the placement thing that I'm thinking about talking about on this show today is just that, you know, where do we fit in society? What is this system that we are programmed to be in? Where are we? What is going on right now in the world? There's so much just pulling and tugging on us, going left, going right. And, you know, we're trying to live our own life, and we're trying to go through our own battles, and every single person has battles, and we are just being pulled in every single direction, and it's so hard to maneuver these days. And people don't know how to think. We don't know if we're allowed to think. We don't know allowed what we're allowed to say, what we're we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, because feelings are such a big thing in this new age of just being in the world. And we don't know, the system we're in this like mix of, the system is changing, like laws, rules, and all of this stuff hasn't been changed forever. So we still live in this world that, it's just this system that was created by these families that we live in. And it's the matrix, to be totally honest with you. And we had a great conversation the other day, and I feel like people don't know that they live in a matrix. They're born into a society that is already set up for you to do certain things, and a lot of people are brainwashed. And when you're awake, you realize this stuff, and it keeps you silent a lot. And a lot of people are silent about it. And we talk about it a lot of the times in a whisper, because we feel like we can't talk about it, because the people who aren't awake don't understand. And when you're asleep all the time, and you don't really see what is going on in this world, and you don't really see what this system, what we're living in, this systematic place that we are living in. A lot of people either get angry, or they get uncomfortable, or they call you a conspiracy theorist, and they just live in this world that is just they're so blinded. And sometimes, if you don't want to hear a perspective, I totally understand that, but we should at least listen to the other perspective and hear the opinion, and maybe it can, wake you up.
I love a conspiracy theory, but I'm always so interested to know I like to know alternative thinking, and I like people who think outside of the box and wonder different things. And I like discussing those things, even if I don't necessarily agree with them. I'm always so interested to hear what other people think and how they perceive things. So I find it to be always like a really good conversation. And sometimes it's like a wild conversation because it's so far gone, but I always enjoy that.
Yeah. And I seem to, I don't know, when the crazier the story, the more I believe it. The crazier the conspiracy theory, the more I'm on board with it. I don't know. And lately, I feel like a lot of these conspiracy theories are becoming true. So when someone's so against things like this, and you say conspiracy theory, and you just slap that title onto it, and then it becomes true, what does that person say? What does that person say when something becomes true? And it is not a conspiracy theory anymore, and it is something that is actually real. If you don't realize that we are living in the matrix, and we are living in a society that is set up for us to stop at red lights, stop at stop signs. There's a police force that will write tickets for you, throw you in jail for certain things. You are programmed to go to school. You do get in trouble if you don't go to school. You are programmed to go to college. You are programmed to get a job and work for somebody else. That's what the whole school system is. This whole society is to put you into debt, so you have to work, so you can pay taxes. Every time anybody is born, they have a social security number attached to them, and that social security number is an investment for the government to tax you and keep track of you and make money off you for the rest of your life. Even when you die, you pay tax. This whole system is to create money, so the families that control the government have control, more money, more control.
Control and power, money, they all go hand in hand. So it's no wonder. But we are in a society where I feel like when social media started to get going, it was all about voicing your opinion and feeling free to do so in such an open and kind of clear air. But now I feel like it's come to full circle, and you feel muzzled in a way with the things that you present or the way you say things, and you are always very cautious to not upset or hurt anyone's feelings. And that's almost such an impossible thing to do. There's always someone who's going to be affected by something, whether it was intentional or not, in a negative way, no matter what you say. So it's hard because you want to do the right thing, but knowing what that is always an obstacle.
Right. And, muzzled or not, we still live in this society that puts us in debt, and then we have to work our whole lives to get out of this debt, to retire, to have to get a second job, to get Social Security, to not get Social Security, to have to work another job until we're all dead. And that is the programming that we have. As soon as you start thinking on your own and you realize that, what money is, what credit is, how you use money, what money is actually for, and how it's supposed to be a tool. If you don't see that America is marketed as something where they have, if you don't think the government is in cahoots with Disney and Nike and Gucci and all this kind of stuff, so everybody spends their money on the brands and spends money on a purse that is 2,400% markup on something that you can go down to the Target and get something for $40-$50. This is all programmed to put you in debt. They want you in debt. They want you to get your money and they want you to spend it on products. They don't want you to invest it. They don't want you to think about how money is a tool, how your money should be making you more money. They don't teach you this stuff in school. They would never teach you this stuff in school. They barely teach credit. They barely teach how to write a check. I was having a conversation with 16 and 17-year-olds who work at our establishment, and they didn't know what credit was. They didn't know what a credit card was. The question I was asked was, what is an actual credit card? My mom has one. And, that is super, it was disheartening to me. I had to take a step back and I had to understand that I live in a different world. I live in a different world where they don't want you to know what credit is. They don't want you to build your credit. They want you to just get in debt, go to school. You mean to tell me that people are going to school and they're going to go to college and they're already talking about what college they're going to go to? They're going to talk about what they're going to want to do for the rest of their whole entire life, and they don't know what credit is? If I ask these same kids, what are you going to do when you go to college? Are you going to go to college? 99% of them are, yes, I'm going to college and this is what I'm going for. How do you have your mind made up of what you're going to do for the rest of your life, but you don't know what credit is? You don't know what actual money is. You don't know any of you have no knowledge of what actual money. People think money is to buy things. They think it's a trade-off to buy things. Nobody is taught and educated about money and credit and life skills. Like a lot of the things that I do daily and what I'm teaching these kids are life skills. They don't teach how to answer a phone. They don't teach etiquette. They don't teach credit. They don't teach finance. They don't teach this. It's unbelievable to me. I had to learn a lot of this on my own as well. But I was at least taught a foundation from my father, good and bad, from what his actions were, but he taught me the opposite of what he actually did. So I got to see both sides of it. You, on the other hand, you got taught and shown what to do.
Yeah, my dad had his own hardships when it came to credit and finances, and what I was taught from a very, very young age, what credit was, the value of a dollar. I was just really taught a lot. Like my dad would just say a lot of things out loud. Like I knew what a minimum payment was. I knew that you never made the minimum payment. You always made more than that. The goal was always to pay off what you're spending on your credit card should be something that you can pay off and not pay that. And there's just so many different things and not pay that interest. And just a lot of different things were just taught to me about how I bought and what I spent my money on. And just a lot, just always talking about it in my house. My dad was always showing me a bill and showing me how he wrote it out and showing me how to check things. And it was just a lot.
Right.
It was
So
my own class.
even if you open up the door for your child or you open up the door for somebody and you teach them something about credit and what it is and money and understand how to handle it. A lot of these kids are walking around going to Starbucks, spending their money. And a lot of them say to me, as long as my card goes through and it doesn't get declined. They don't even know that declined is bad. They don't know. I'm telling you, we have a problem in this country right now. The education system is not doing its job. We all know what it's set up for. The people who like to shake their head and not listen to what I'm saying right now, deep down inside, you have to know. Deep down inside, if you actually wake up and you look at what is going on, and I'm not talking about right and left and all that kind of stuff. I would never get into that conversation because, that's just an endless conversation. But I'm just talking about the actual system that we are born into. The system that we are in is just controlled. And, I've been thinking about it so much lately. Because I've been having so many conversations with our youth, with the next generation, and they are super smart, so smart. They know things that I'm always asking them questions, picking their brain and stuff like that. But there's a part that they're just missing, and it's communication skills, talking in person. A lot of it's digital. So if that's the way that we're going, and that's the way that this world is going, it's going to be all tech. It's going to be all online. It's going to be computer. It's going to be all science fiction. If that's the way it's going to go, they're going to be unbelievable at it. And none of this even matters. If the system's going to change, none of this even matters. A lot of things too. If you go to price out, a lot of people want to work from home and do tech in the tech world. But if you really look at it, there's people in India doing it for half of what the people in the U.S. are, demanding. So they're demanding $20,000 to do a tech job, but in India they're doing it for $60,000. There's things that you have to look at. I just don't know where the world is. We're in a shift right now. People don't know where the placement is. We're going through that change. Change is happening, and I don't feel like enough people are talking about it or even know how to handle it. And most people are handling it by just not talking about it. And it has to be talked about more. There has to be more communication and language, and we need to talk about it. We're missing a lot out there. It's a lot of Instagram highlight reels. Show me the best. Show me that you're happy. Do this, and it's not real. There's not a lot of real out there. And that's why when someone talks real, people either attack it or love it.
And that's why it is so difficult to talk real, because there is so much attack, and it makes you think, why am I bothering? Why am I sharing or expressing my opinion on something when it's just going to be completely, attacked, and just feel like it's aggressive when it's unnecessary.
I know, but I'm just sick of not being as real as I want, and people like to call it, instead of being real, it's controversial, and I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of not being able to be real, not being able to be myself, not being able to say what I want to say, and what I'm seeing, the facts that I'm literally seeing every single day. We're missing a leader. We're missing somebody who's, that we can gravitate to. There is no leaders anymore. You go through these generations, you learn the history, and there was always these leaders. Where are they? Are they ever going to come out? Are we going to get more leaders that are going to lead, And then sometimes you think, is it going to be me? Is it going to be me that is the person who's going to do it? Am I strong enough? You question yourself, I'm always trying to make myself better in this world. I don't get to meet a lot of different people like myself. So when I do find those people, I like to gravitate towards those people, because we're very, very strong-willed. We talk about the same similarities, but there's a lot of weak people out there. So it's very easy to become that leader. It's very easy to become that strong person, because there's just so many people out there that are just weak. And I don't know if they don't know how to be strong, or it's just that's the way it is right now. So, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's just making me stronger, and it just makes it easier for me to win and do what I do, because everybody that I come in contact with can't either keep up, they're too weak. I love a good, strong person. I
think there's definitely like a disillusion. Like, a lot of people don't question things, and I feel like when you don't question what's happening around you or to you or not to you, you find yourself in like non-desirable situations. For just even the student with the credit card, his mom has one or her mom has one. It's so, with all of the knowledge at your fingertips, at your disposal at any time, like, you should know. It's it's just not caring. It's not asking that question. It's not putting forth the effort. It's on just dismissing what that is and not holding it to be what's going to be a part of your life and a priority. So it's just something that isn't taught. So therefore, people think they don't have to learn on their own, and they just are going through the motions. And if they're not going to teach them in school, then they just are not going to know. And it's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one thing. That's just credit. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a big deal, and all that kind of stuff. And financial education is huge. But there's just so much more that goes into this. There's so much more. The world of social media, believe me, I think it's positive. I think it's positive because there's a lot more communication going on. But is that communication real? Is it fake? Is it the correct communication? What to believe, what to not believe? So there's a lot of fake news out there. We don't know which is real, which is fake. So we make what is real and we make what is fake. So it's like there's a lot of just a lot of information. It's all of the information. So it's very hard to just maneuver as a young adult. Everything is so fast paced. Everything is here now, popular, and then gone tomorrow. So it's very, I just imagine growing up when your brain is supposed to be growing and your brain is supposed to be, learning a lot of different things, what it is learning, what it is retaining. You have to have strong leaders and parents and teachers and, in your life, mentors. You have to read the right things. You have to watch the right things. And I'm sure it's very, very hard growing up and growing up into this world because, I grew up in the world of MySpace when I was, 16, 17, AOL Instant Messenger was like text messaging. We would fight to get on the computer to get on Instant Messenger so I could leave depressing away messages, so everybody saw and could ask me how I'm doing, or, that's what I lived in, who's in my top 5 in my MySpace best friends, that's the time I grew up in. So I didn't even have a computer until I was probably 15, 16, 17.
And the computer was in like an open living space. Like our computer was like just out in the open. So you couldn't really,
Right. So,
do too much.
like we grew up differently. Obviously, the generation before us grew up differently. And it's, it's just every generation. We look at the next generation. I guarantee, I'm pretty sure we say pretty much similar things, but it's just, I don't know where we're going right now. I don't know the direction that we're going. I don't know where, it's hard for me to maneuver too. And I think about it a lot. I don't just walk around and just think, go to work, make money. And I look at the world that we're in and I think, can I be a change? Am I changing anything? Am I even making a mark in it? How can I change it? But you also have to work on yourself. And I talk about that. I mean, every show before this is working on yourself and, saying the right things to yourself and being that next level person that you want to be. We live this short life on this earth. And even if you go by the system, you can still have a wonderful life if you're right in your head. It's your mind is the number one thing that you have to conquer. Whatever makes you happy is what you should be doing. And whatever makes you happy in that moment, you should be doing. Or, whatever makes you happy 5 years ago doesn't mean it's going to make you happy now. So you should always be doing something that makes you happy. And it's okay to change. It's okay to change that thing in a matter of a moment because we only live one time on this earth. And we shouldn't be wasting it being unhappy because this world is crazy.
It just goes back to questioning, asking the right questions and questioning your existence in a sense. And if you are doing the things that you do love more of the time, and if you are happy, and just asking yourself those questions and answering them for real and not just kind of giving yourself your customer service marketing answer, which is so easy to do. And that's just going through the motions and doing what is expected of you by your family and the people around you. It is the easier choice versus asking the right questions.
Yeah. So say you ask yourself the right questions, what's next?
Well, even the right questions, even just thinking to yourself, do I want to do this? Am I happy doing this? Do I I feel like a lot of people are doing things that they don't love or don't want to do, but don't take the next step would be to take action.
Like
and
you
do
didn't
do
finish
something
school,
about.
right?
No.
Like you didn't finish. Why not?
No,
Why didn't you went to college? You didn't finish school. Why not?
Yeah, I was so going through the motions. You know, that was the easy path for me. But I never knew what was going to come of it because I never took school. I never took college seriously because I was just there to be there. I was there to make my parents happy. But I didn't know what was happening. Like my guidance counselor would be like, "You're such a free spirit," because I never knew what I was doing. I was signing up for classes late. I was there or I wasn't there, and I was just trying to figure it out as I went. I didn't need to be in school gaining debt and a very big bill to think about what I wanted to do. I could have thought and just worked, but I didn't think it through. But it doesn't matter. I figured it out as I went. I was working the whole time, making money. I'm very money motivated. I enjoyed working. So I was always on and off school, in school, out of school, just kind of trying to find my way. And I guess that's just kind of what worked for me. But I ended up not finishing school because I could never decide what I wanted to do. I must have changed my major. I don't even know how many times.
Right. So someone that goes to school, you change your major 100 times,
Yeah.
right? You don't even want to go. You're trying to make your decision while you're in school
Yeah.
of what to do. All this time you're paying for college by yourself.
So silly when
Right? You're paying it for it
when
yourself.
the right thing is to take the time off that students do. You hear all the time they take a year or 2 years or however long they take a semester to work and kind of gather their thoughts. And the natural path was you go to high school, you graduate, and then you go right to college. And I really wish at that time I would have just taken that time off, but I was never made to feel like that was okay.
See, that was your natural path. That wasn't my natural path.
Well, with how I was brought up is what I'm saying.
And most people are brought up that way.
Yeah, that was my natural path, But then as I kept on going on it, it was no longer natural. It was just something I was doing. But you don't think about the money that is just accumulating while you're there doing.
Of course you don't.
Absolutely
You don't see
nothing. Like it was the most expensive party of my life, is what it ended up being.
Right. And when you go to a casino, the reason that they give you chips is that you don't see your money. You see chips, and it's fun to play with chips.
Right.
So when you play with chips, you spend more. You don't have an emotional attachment to chips as you do money. So that's why when you go to a casino and you get your chips, it's easier to spend it or lose it because it's not real. It's easier to spend your money when you don't see it. That's why people go into debt and they go to college and they have a really good time. Guess what I did? I didn't go to college and I partied in every single one of them and it was free. So, I get it. I get going to college. I understand it. But when I hear people and they talk about how their life is going to be and the job that they're going to get and everything's going to be highty-tighty and they're going to have this white picket fence and this world that they don't. I see a lot of the highlight reel and people talk like it's a highlight reel. And it's just, I don't know. There's too many people that I know and too many people that I come in contact with at, just daily that it's just, I don't know. It's brainwashing, like where is the realness infused in that? Who's helping them make these decisions? It feels like these decisions were made for them since birth, and I just don't know. When are you going to break the mold? Who's going to break the mold? I don't know. Like I said, placement, there's fog, there's static in the frequency. It's a different time that we are living in, and we need to talk about it more. And I need help, getting through it. And not just me, but everybody. We all need to get through this journey. And it's a weird time. Terry, I know that you're over there. I want to hear your opinion on it. I just want to hear your opinion on just this new world that we're living in, what you see, because you grew up in a different time even than us, and because you're a little older than us, and I just want to know what someone with from you.
Well, in my opinion, we live in a microwave society. Everybody wants everything right now, and they want it to be perfect. And the world I grew up in was totally different. I know what life was prior to social media. All right. So all the things that you said are right on point because you are a product of social media. All right. So case in point is conspiracy theories, right? You have more access to a conspiracy theory than I had. So my vision of a conspiracy a conspiracy theory is totally different. You know, I take what I can accept, and the rest I leave on the table. You know what I mean? Because I'm the type of person who go out and do research. I'm going to research everything. So you can tell me that the sky is gray, and I know that the sky is blue, but because of the clouds, it might look a little gray, but I know it's blue, but I'm going to just double check. You know what I mean? I'm just not going to take your word and run with it. You know what I mean? What I find out today is most people will take the information that they see and won't do any research. And sometimes you get led down the wrong path because you didn't do the research. We have stopped doing research. How many people can remember a phone number today? We can't. You might remember your phone number that you grew up with in your house, but now everything is done through your cell phone. An address, a phone number. You don't even know how to travel anymore because of that device in your hand.
Right.
You know what I mean? You use your GPS for everything. So technology has changed the way we operate. You know, so I don't do the old school. You know, I'm going to go back to what I know and what I'm comfortable with, and it gets me in trouble sometimes because I've done the research, and when I talk to somebody who only research they do is what pops up on their social network feed, and they believe everything they see, the moment you tell them that, you know what, go do some research, that's not true, you know, and now they're all pissed off at you.
Right.
You know what I mean? But one thing that you did say that is a home run, I told everybody this all the time about casinos and chips and your money and debt and college and Social Security. Mike, I don't know where you got that from because I've been thinking this and I've been talking about this for years of what we are set up to do and how we're programmed. You know, we are pre-programmed literally from birth, and you hit a home run with that.
Thank you. The one thing that you just said that I liked is that you take what you can get and then you leave the rest on the table. So you could take what you get out of it and then you leave the rest on the table. And I love that because that's a great outlook on and perspective on anything. It's
Absolutely.
Not just a conspiracy theory. It's just you accept what you can take and then you leave the rest on the table. And that's awesome. I like that. I like that
Absolutely.
statement. You know,
It's how you should talk to people. You know, they're not gonna not every single thing that you're gonna talk to with them you're gonna agree. You know, so it makes sense that that's how it should be versus aggressively attacking people because you don't agree with them or you don't understand what they're saying.
I can give you a perfect example. A couple years ago, the statement came out, defund the police, right? Nobody did the research of what defund the police meant. They thought we wanted to get rid of the police department. No. Federal funds are allocated to every police department for them to utilize any way they want, all right? And a lot of these police departments, they took that federal funded money and they allocated it to special units. They don't have to work under the regular guidelines of the police department. They have an anti-crime role. You can go anywhere you want in the city. You don't have to report to the regular police protocol. All right. So guess what? When people talk about defunding the police, they didn't say shut down the police department. They said take that money and allocate it to places where it's really needed at. Case in point, 911 operators need to be better trained. So that way, if somebody calls up 911 and said that my grandson is going berserk in my house, he's tearing up the house, the 911 operator need to be trained to ask, is there any mental illness in his life? So that way, when they pass that call over to the police department, not only is the police going to come, but somebody who has mental health experience will also show up. EMS will show up. You know what I mean? So it's not just up to the police to go in there who are only trained to be cowboys, you know, and everybody else is the Indian or the bad guy that wears black. You know what I mean? So take that money and allocate it for proper training and proper programs. But I bring it up as an example because people got on their podiums and said, defund the police, we're going to have lawlessness in America. How many people read that on social media and said, that's what that means? Nobody did the research.
Right. So it's very interesting, that information, because I'm one of those people, and maybe, it just brings me to a quick point that when we name a dish in our restaurant on the menu, sometimes we takes 2-3 times to name it, and until we get it right, and maybe defund the police is not the right name for it.
It's not the right name.
Because the first thing I think about is what you just said.
Yeah.
And who wants lawlessness?
Right.
So I didn't do my research. So for you telling me that, it makes me want to research it to understand it more. But just that name, of course, defund the police. Why the heck would I want to do that?
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, listen, I said the same thing, and I tried to explain it to so many people who couldn't get past what was said to them by politicians who have an agenda.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Because guess what? A politician doesn't care if you live or die, because whoever his audience is who he's going to pander to. Whether
Yes.
left or right, it doesn't matter to me, because it's the same bird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
the old joke is, if how do you know a politician's lying? They're talking.
that's right. Exactly. So with that term, defund the police, the politicians took it, and the all these social media gurus, they took it, they ran with it, and they twisted and turned it to their audience, and everybody brought it. You know what I mean? Because if I heard it, when I first heard defund the police, I was like, wait, whoa, you can't defund the police. Until I did the research, realized that the money that's allocated to the police departments, like I grew up in New York, the 80s, the big crack era. New York City Police Department created a department called TNT. All right, TNT officers, they were strictly out there to do buy and bust for drug deals and go after drug deals, right?
Right.
Anti-crime cops that did the stop and frisk, right? TNT and stop and frisk. Have you ever heard of Creedmoor?
No.
Creedmoor, it was a huge mental hospital in New York,
Okay.
in Queens. They took those empty buildings and turned them into a police station for anti-crime and TNT. Anti-crime and TNT worked out of Creedmoor. They could go anywhere in New York City they wanted, with no supervision other than their department supervision. So if the local police station, let's say it was the 106 precinct in Jamaica, Queens, the anti-crime cops can come in their precinct and do whatever they want without checking in with the 106 precinct. So they would bust people, do all kinds of things.
Right.
And then when the other police come, they say, well, who are you guys? They say, oh, we anti-crime, or we TNT. You know what I mean? So that's a perfect example of defunding the police,
Right.
because they operated independently. Look at what just happened down in Minneapolis, where it was, Memphis. Right. You know what? You had a department called Scorpion. Their job was to kick butt and go after organized crime, those other stuff. But the regular roll call that the police have every day, those guys aren't sitting in a roll call.
Right.
They operate independently. So we got to change those type of things,
Yeah, and we never know all the information about anything. They don't let us know anything. We know what they want us to know. Especially with the media.
Oh, absolutely.
The media, it's controlled by the higher ups. I mean, and we're only told, and we only see what we're meant to see. So we can form the opinion.
What's going to really blow your mind? Whenever y'all take some time off and go travel, take a vacation, go to Europe, right?
Yeah.
Their version of CNN is totally different from what we see here. Everything that we see in America is sanitized. Everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? We think we have freedom of speech here. We don't have freedom of speech here. We don't get to see what's going on, all the madness. They keep all the madness away from us to keep us controlled. But once you leave the country, and I've traveled around the world with my music for years,
right? And
I saw things that blew my mind. And one of the things I realized, our allies aren't really our allies. Everybody hates Americans. You think the British are our allies? They're not. You think the French? They're not, because they need us, because we are the superpower in the police of the world. They need us. They don't want us. And when you go over those places and you see, just watch the news, you say, oh my God, you never know why America's hated. because our hand is in everything that's negative around the world. But you won't know that watching the news here in America. You won't know it listening to your politicians. Why do you think we're sending billions of dollars to the Ukraine? Those billions of dollars could help solve the problems of America, you know? But guess what? It's a reason behind all that stuff, and we're totally in the dark.
Yes. So interesting to hear your perspective and you traveling with your music. We got to talk about that one time, because I definitely want to hear all of those stories. And I know you have crazy stories.
Sure.
You always have good stories.
I have stories.
Thank you so much, Terry, for that. And
you're welcome.
Appreciate it. But back to this control, and back to what I see. I'm sure Terry and a lot of you that are older than me have seen a lot more than myself. But I'm in kind of fast forward mode, being in a business where I get to meet so many different kinds of people, and it's seen every single day. I watch people come in and just try to drink their sorrows away. We don't get much of it because we're not a bar, we're a restaurant first, but we get to see it. But I get to talk to a lot of different people who, are looking for the next high, looking for the next party, looking for the next thing, because they're I just see a lot of people who are just lost in life, lost in their place in this world. And I really feel like the Matrix is the control that people are under, and is why they are going through this. They are searching. If you watch the movie The Matrix, Neo, is searching and searching and searching and wondering, and that's what the whole movie's about. And I, throughout my whole life since that movie came out and I watched that movie, it means something different to me every single time I watch it or I think about it. And if you haven't seen that movie, you need to watch it. It seems like a sci-fi movie, but it as you watch it more and you really get into what it's about, it will just blow your mind.
I feel like as a society, since we, especially in the restaurant business, like you see a lot of people everywhere looking for the next numbing agent, like however that form comes, like whether it's drinking or drugs or whatever they're doing, like there is just a numbing agent that you're kind of looking for because you want to not see what's really happening in real time and in real life. So it sucks in that way, but you definitely see a lot of it, a lot of people not truly living because of a multitude of reasons, and rather than facing them, it's easier to just kind of numb that and not think about it.
Yeah, so self-empowerment, I want to end on something super positive, and that is, and I tell you this all the time, if you're listening to this and you want to level up and you want to make yourself better, you need to write things down, and you need to start the sentence with I am grateful, I am powerful, I can do anything, I am love, I am money, I am just successful. So, I am healthy, I am fitness. All of these things you need to write down, and you need to read them as you're writing them. You need to say them. You need to, it will make you instantly happy. It will instantly make you level up. Leave them out for other people to see. So when they read them, it is in the first person for them as well. So,
remember when we did those sticky notes and
yes.
we were giving them out everywhere? How
Yes.
awesome those were.
Yes, I do. I found a box of those that we do. So, empower yourself. Empower yourself to just have better days. Tell yourself you're going to have a good day today. Force yourself to have a good day today. Force yourself to have energy. We have to get through this together. And there is no time but right now to get in shape. There is no time but right now to start your business, to invest in that real estate. Money is a tool. Stop buying junk. Stop buying everything that you see on the ads on social media. Stop buying everything that you think is going to make you happy.
Numbing.
It is just something for a very short period of time, a moment. It doesn't actually give you happiness. It's the whole excitement of opening something and just having it for a little bit that makes you excited, but it will go away. So that stuff does not make you happy. You should be planning like you're going to live forever, but living like you're going to die today. So that is how you should be living your life. Life is fun. Life should be fun. You should be getting rid of your anxiety and your depression by working out. If you work out, it helps get rid of all of that stuff. If you make your life the hardest in the morning with working out and putting yourself through a strenuous workout, it helps with all of that anxiety and that stress. And if you're not doing it and saying it doesn't work, that's on you, because it does. I have struggled with a lot of anxiety. I have struggled with a lot of stress. And let me tell you something, I don't want to ever not work out in the morning because I have the best day ever, and it all goes away. Being sore, being in pain, working out, and having that soreness from working out, and just knowing that you accomplished something in the morning and you put yourself through something in the morning that was the most challenging thing that you were going to have to go through, and then your day starts, there's just something to it. And I'm telling you, you need to do it.
I read this awesome quote, and I was telling you about it, and it was like, what if doctors prescribed experiences instead of medication? And I had just posted it on my social, and I was talking to a bunch of people because I had and then like someone had said, oh, my one friend had went to the doctor for her anxiety, and her doctor had told her that she should take up hiking. And she started hiking every day, and it helped her friend so much. And I was just going back and forth with different people talking about just different ways that you could put yourself out there that will kind of just mind, body, soul you and get you right. So I feel like somehow going out into the world, experiencing different things and meeting different people is now like out of the box, because there's a prescription for everything, or an over-the-counter, or some kind of home remedy. So I feel like just thinking about what you could do and be proactive is a benefit to you.
Imagine going to a doctor and they tell you to go hiking.
Or rock climbing.
Wow. Thank you so much for going to school to tell me to go hiking.
Right.
And that's what they're prescribing people now, because people don't go outdoors. They're stuck on their phones. They're stuck watching TV. They go to work. They come home and they're watching Netflix. They're on their phone. They need to get out in the world and see trees, feel the earth, feel the wind on their face. It's I'm telling you, you guys have to change your life. You have to, every Sunday you get that message, just like me, how long you've been on your phone. It tells you, it breaks it down for you as well. Try to beat your score, and try to get it down, because you should be, honestly, like, even stop watching this, stop listening to me, stop. You know what I mean? Like, it's time to start. It's time to start. I'm telling you, now is the time. I always say this, 5 years is going to pass no matter what. No matter what. Do you want to be in the same spot? Do you want to be in the same mindset? Do you want to have the same savings account? It's you can literally do anything. You just have to flip the switch to your life and change. That's it. You have to be who you want to be by being that person. Live the life as if you already are that person, and then you will become that person. But that's my time. It was a different show today. I want you to empower yourself. I want you to wake up a little bit. I want you to look around a little bit. I want you to look at the system that we live in, and I want you to start waking up. It's time to wake up. It's time to open your third eye and look around. See what's actually happening. See why people are saying things. What is the media saying to you? What is the message they're trying to get across to you? Why are there so many pharmaceutical commercials on TV? Why? Because they want you to have an illness. They don't want to cure anything. They just want to put a Band-Aid on it. So you have to continue to go into the system. The system is for you to empower them with your money, your time, and your life. Guys, empower yourself. And like Terry said, research. Don't just react. Research first, then react. Take what you can take and leave the rest on the table. Guys, this has been a great show. It's February 8th. Do you have any closing statements?
No. Closing statements.
Thank you so much, Gynesis Radio. Thank you, Terry. Thank you for jumping in and giving us some insight and knowledge. We appreciate you. We appreciate Gynesis Radio. Thank you so much. This is Hustle Hour, and I am Mike.
I'm Diane.
Have a great night.